So let's get some stretching on today. We're going to start on our knees, but first we're going to get our toes tucked. So you can tuck your toes and even kind of tuck some of the pinky toes that like to stay a little untucked, eventually rolling all the way back, making sure your shoulders are over your full spine, pushing your chin back slightly to make sure you're fully upright on your toes. So a nice deep intense stretch. If this is too much, you can slowly come back forward, or you can completely untuck your toes. So we'll inhale as we bring our shoulders up and then back. Exhale, we stay here with our shoulders rolled back and down, our shoulder blades together. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, releasing our shoulders. Inhale, rolling our shoulders up, back and down. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, rolling our shoulders back to a neutral position. Inhale, rolling our shoulders up, back and down, holding it here as we exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, shoulders come to a neutral position. Last one. Inhale, rolling our shoulders up, back and down. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, shoulders finding that neutral position. Inhale as we roll forward. Exhale as we untuck our toes. Maybe you give them a little bit of a toe tap here. Inhale, exhale, rolling back onto our feet. Now you'll feel a nice deep stretch in the front of your calves. And we'll start to work on the rotation of our neck. So we'll bring our gaze to the right, bring our chin to the right. Our shoulders are still rolled back and down. Inhale. Exhale in the twist. Inhale, bringing your gaze back to forward. Exhale, gaze to the left, chin maybe over the left shoulder. Inhale, gaze comes back to a neutral. Exhale, twisting to the right. And then we'll lower our chin towards our shoulder. Bring our right arm up, resting on the top of our head. Our gaze is through our armpit. And maybe we grab onto our hip with our left hand. And just feeling a really intense stretch down the left side of the neck. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale, releasing the hands back onto the legs. Our chin comes back up. And we inhale, gaze comes back forward. Exhale, twisting to the left. Chin comes down to the left shoulder, keeping that right shoulder back. Left arm comes up and overhead, just resting, not pulling. And gaze is pretty much just in front of that armpit through onto the floor. Your right hand can grab onto your right hip. And you'll feel that nice, deep, intense stretch on the right side of the neck. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, bringing your hands back down onto your thighs. Gaze lifts. And inhale, bringing your gaze forward. Now we'll get some lateral flexion. So we'll bring our right ear to our right shoulder. You're not going to bring your shoulder up, just keep your shoulders back and down. So maybe you stay here. Maybe you lift your left arm with your palm out. Wrapping your fingers forward, keeping your thumb up, and then pointing your thumb to the left. almost like you're grabbing onto a teapot and pouring it. So with that stretch, maybe you find a nice deep neck stretch and all the way to the traps. Maybe your arm comes down just a little bit. So just playing a little bit with that stretch. Inhale. Exhale, again, trying not to come forward, keeping that chin back so that you're completely over that seat bone. Inhale. And exhale, lowering that left arm. Your neck comes back up to a neutral spine. And exhale, the left ear comes down towards the left shoulder. Inhale as your right arm maybe lifts, wrapping your hands around that imaginary teapot. Again, your right thumb is either up or just pointing to the right as you maybe pour that imaginary teapot. Really feel that stretch, moving your arm maybe a little bit just to see if there's maybe a tiny different sensation. Nothing should hurt. If you're feeling shock waves, slowly come out of it. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale as you bring your hand back down and bringing your gaze back forward. Now we're going to pretend that there's a little pencil on the edge of our chin, and we're going to just draw small circles, a little circumduction of the cervical spine. Whichever way you want to rotate, you'll just stay in the same rotation. So moving with your breath, making small circles with the chin. Remember which way we're going because we'll reverse the direction eventually. I'm going up and left, down and right. Nice small rotations for those small little muscles that keep the spine either in or out of alignment. We want to avoid them from being out of alignment. And on the next exhale, we'll meet with our chins back to close to our chest, and then we'll rotate in the opposite direction. Small little rotations, just drawing a little circle, being very gentle on those neck muscles. On the next exhale, we'll meet with our chin towards our chest, finding a neutral spine, and then inhale, coming forward onto our hands and knees. So we're going to take a little bit of a modification in our cat-cow. So our hands are going to be underneath our shoulders, shoulder width apart, knees underneath your hips, hip width apart. Toes are untucked. And that's because we'll be pressing into the top of our feet to come into cat. So we'll inhale into cow first, rolling our shoulders forward, our pelvis tilts up, and our chest really opens for that deep breath in. Exhale into cat, and as you come into cat, tucking your pelvis, gaze comes between your knees, press into the top of your feet, your knees may be lifted an inch. Inhale, placing your knees back down into your cow pose. Inhale into cat, exhale, into cat, knees lift slightly. Exhale. Inhale, cow. Exhale into cat, knees lift slightly. Inhale, cow. Continue to move with your own breath. You may find with lifting the knees just slightly, it gives the knee a little bit of a stretch, engaging the top of the foot, pressing into the top of the foot. Using the core to lift your knees. And after your next inhale, we'll exhale into a neutral and flat spine. We'll start to take some circumduction of the spine. So we'll start to move one direction or another into that same kind of circular pattern where we move their chest. I'm going forward and right, left, back and left, Right. Anyways, small circumduction here. And then finding that neutral position as you exhale, inhale, opposite direction. On the next exhale, finding that neutral position. Bring your hands a little bit forward, your feet a little bit back, or your knees a little bit behind, and we'll do a bigger circumduction. So now our right hip is going towards our right wrist, our left hip towards our left wrist, and then our left hip comes back to our left heel, right hip to right heel, and then continue to make circles. Moving with the breath, exhaling as you come through child's pose, inhaling as you come through a modified upward facing dog. You'll definitely, potentially, I shouldn't say definitely, you may hear some knee pops. My right knee already gave a little noise. That's just a little air in the joints. Nothing to be too worried about. The next time we meet through child's pose, we'll go into the opposite direction. So now as we inhale, our left hip is coming towards our left wrist, right hip to right wrist, right hip back to our right heel, left hip to left heel, and then again, continuing to flow with that rotation. My shoulder just popped really loudly, so you'll just definitely hear maybe a few pops in your shoulders and your knees. So this is really just building a little bit of fluidity in the joints and just taking it as slow as you can. You can do this anytime. This is one of my favorite things to do. It just really gets all that fascia moving. I've been told fascia in the body is very similar to that white stuff in an orange. So it's all over, and we do have to move that fascia around, otherwise it gets really stiff. And that's why when you wake up in the morning and you feel really stiff, it's because you haven't moved in a while. The next time we meet in child's pose, we'll stay there for a moment. Inhale, exhale in child's pose. And on the next inhale, we'll come back up into hands and knees. We'll reposition our knees. So now this is going to be a bit different, but we're going to roll our shoulders forward and back. So it's going to look like this as we inhale. I'm going to roll my shoulders forward. My chest is going to rise up. And as I exhale, I roll my shoulders back. So it's similar to cat-cow, but really just emphasizing the shoulders. Inhale, as my shoulders roll slightly forward. My chest rises up through my back. Exhale. Shoulders rolling back, chest lowers. So just moving the shoulders, it's very small with the breath on your own. And just feeling how that feels in the front and back of the upper chest area and in the shoulders. And on the next inhale, we'll all meet with our shoulders rolling forward and our back, upper chest really puffed up. This is what your back should be doing in, plank. Your hands are pressing down and back. Your core is engaged. We'll go ahead and tuck the toes, straighten the legs, finding our plank. Again, you're really pressing your shoulders forward. Your upper chest is puffed up. Your hands are pressing down and back. Your feet are kind of pressing forward, just like a pike. Your core is engaged. Inhale here. Exhale, we'll lower into chaturanga or Nishastin. So moving slightly forward, bending at the elbow, holding plank for just a moment, chaturanga for just a moment, and then we inhale, sweep through into upward facing dog or cobra. So upward facing dog, your shoulders are rolling back and down. Your thighs are not resting on the mat. They're lifted.
you're engaged on the back body. If you're in Cobra, your thighs are rested on the ground, your shoulders are rolling back and down, your elbows are together. Your gaze is just maybe a foot in front of you. So this is Cobra, and this is upward facing dog. So it's really nice on the lower back. And then we'll inhale, tuck our toes, press back through to downward facing dog. Find a nice bend in the knees. Bring your stomach forward, almost like you can rest it on your thighs. It's not just about bringing your neck forward. No, your gaze is sort of between the knees, but to find that opening in the shoulders, bend the knees a little bit, tilt the pelvis so that your tailbone is starting to point higher and higher. And then eventually maybe you can straighten your knees a little bit so that your heels come down. And then just play with it. Maybe one heel comes down while the other comes up. Maybe you bring both of the knees to one side. Maybe you flow through a vinyasa flow. So finding whatever you need, we'll be here for a few breaths. Maybe just taking child's pose, taking a break. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And we'll exhale, all finding stillness in our downward facing dog. And as we inhale, we'll take the smallest steps forward. So when we take a step forward, think of going heel to toe. Even though it doesn't do it on that first step, you'll really feel that in the hamstring, which may feel nice if you just went on a long run, or it may feel pretty brutal. I'm going to come into cupcake hands now with my hands, as I really just step heel to toe, heel to toe, heel to toe. Really just emphasizing that hamstring stretch as you come all the way up into a forward fold. You can have a slight bend in the knees, but again, just kind of thinking, even with the knees bent, of your tailbone pointing higher and higher. You're coming forward, so you may want to have your hands on something elevated or just on the mat. And we'll be here for a few breaths. So if your jaw is clenched, go ahead and just kind of loosen it a little bit. You can shake your head no, shake your head yes. And inhale, we'll find stillness. Exhale. Inhale, we'll find strength in the back of the legs. Small bend in the knees, engage the core, coming all the way up to a standing position. Hands up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. So we've done a few sun salutations, but we've never done a moon salutation. So from the front of your mat, you'll turn to your left. So hopefully you can still see me, and I'm sorry if you have to crank to one side, but your right foot is on the very top of the mat, and your left foot is beside it, closer to the back of the mat. We'll inhale, bringing our arms up and overhead. If you can't bring your hands together, that's okay. If you want to bring your hands together, interlace them and point with your pointer fingers. You can always do that. Just know, and I'll show you from the side, if you want to bring your lower ribs down, pelvis neutral, engage your core. You don't want to just use your back to bend. It's all in that shoulder. So if it's not there yet, you have to have it here, that's fine. So again, we'll find our arms up and overhead. Inhale. Exhale, we'll bend over to the right, finding a nice side stretch, really planting that left foot into the mat, rooted in that left hip as you stretch the left side of that body. Inhale, coming up to a neutral position. Exhale, bending to the left, now rooted in the right foot, right intercostal muscles, right hip maybe getting a really nice stretch here. Inhale as we come back up to center. Exhale, the left foot lifts up, steps to the left, and our feet are going to go into 45-degree angles. Our knees are going to track. Our pelvis is going to come forward. Our lower rib is coming down. engage the core. Our arms are gonna come up, goalpost arms, shoulders open like we're already doing. Inhale into goddess pose. Exhale here. Inhale, straighten the legs, straighten the arms into star. Exhale, the left foot points to the left, making sure that your right hip stays twisting a little bit to the right, left hip to the left. We'll find triangle pose. Really nice deep side bend here with our left hand tracking down, our right hand up or on our hip. Inhale. And exhale, we'll bring that right hip down. Readjust that right foot. So I put mine a little bit more to the right of my left. My hips are now square to the front of the mat. Legs are straight, and I exhale into pyramid pose. Inhale. Exhale into pyramid. Inhale, I bend the left knee. Bring that right leg a little bit further back. Now I'm in a lunge with the left foot forward. Inhale. Exhale, bring that left arm in front of that left foot. Now we're in Skandasana. So we'll bring that right heel down for Skandasana. And then we'll start to bend both knees. Bring the heels together just a little bit. The heels can be lifted or on the mat, whichever is great. We'll open up the knees with our elbows, coming into a squat, a Malasana squat. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale, we'll keep that right knee bent. Straighten out our left leg with the heel down, finding our Skandasana with the right leg bent this time. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale, the left heel lifts. Our right hand goes to the right of the right foot. Our left hip comes back down, finding our lunge pose. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale, we step the left foot in just a little bit. Straighten the right leg. Bring that left hip forward, right hip back. Square the hips to the front of the mat. Finding your finding your pyramid pose. So this is going to be a nice deep stretch of the hamstring on the right side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale as we come up slightly, bringing our left foot now to a 90-degree angle with our hips really open to the left side of our mat. Our right foot is still pointing to the right, and then our right hip is forward, left hip is back, so our hips really open, and we come into our triangle pose with our right arm down and our left arm up or on our hip. Getting a nice deep side bend here. Try not to compensate by bringing that left hip forward. No, bring it up. It's not about who can get to the ground the furthest to the ground. It's about that side bend stretch. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Imagine that you're grabbing onto a rope. Engage that side body coming up. Bringing your feet to 45-degree angles. Arms are up. Hands are radiating energy. And exhale, we'll bend the knees, bend the elbows, come into goddess pose. Again, your pelvis is engaged. Your lower ribs are coming down to meet your pelvis. You're engaging your core. Inhale. Exhale, goddess. Maybe come a little lower. And inhale, stepping that left foot up, meeting the right foot, coming back to hands up and overhead. Inhale, we'll dip to the left. Exhale as we bend. Inhale, coming back up to center. And exhale, bending to the right. Inhale as we come back up. Exhale, hands to heart center. So that was moon salutation. I think it's Surya Namaskar for the Sanskrit. So let's get into some more hip openers. So meeting at the top of the mat, facing forward now. We'll inhale as we bring our arms out and up. Exhale as we fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, slowly just step both feet back until you come into downward dog. Exhale into your downward facing dog. Inhale, finding your plank. So we just worked on our plank position, so really adjusting everything, finding that strength in your plank pose. Exhale into Nishashin or Chaturanga. Inhale into upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up to the sky, three-legged dog, and then continue to lift that right hip as you bend that right knee. And maybe you'll see your right heel or right foot through your left armpit, and that will keep your right arm, your right shoulder from twisting. You want to bring your shoulders down to level with each other, square to the front of the mat. And then maybe if you have wild thing in your practice, coming further with that right foot, right arm comes up and to the front of your mat. Your hips are energetically lifting up with the core. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale as you press in with that left leg. Right leg lifts up to the sky. Exhale as you bring your right knee into your chest and place it down for pigeon. So your right shin is perpendicular to the front of your mat. Your left leg is tracking back. Finding your pigeon prep. Inhale here. And exhale, folding into your pigeon. We left off was in pigeon. Let me know if you have a question. I just muted everyone and just started right back in. So hopefully that was a nice long pigeon for our right leg. So we'll go ahead and press our hands into the mat, lift our left, tuck our left toes, lift our left knee, engage our core as we press our right knee into our chest, step that right foot back, three-legged dog. Inhale. Exhale as we bring our right knee to the outside of our right elbow and then further to the right side of our right hand into our lizard prep. We'll go ahead and lower the left knee, untuck the left toes, or you can keep it lifted. And then from here, you can either stay here, this is perfectly good off a stretch, or you can come down. If you want to take a little bit of an opening and you want to go onto the pinky side edge or the knife edge side of the foot and open that right knee, you can. I would just recommend not doing that in a full stretch because that may hurt. So wherever you are, finding your lizard pose, really opening up those legs, opening up those hips after that long, long run. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale, we'll come up if we're on the ground. We'll tuck the toes of our left foot, lift our left knee, and then pressing into that left foot, we'll lift the right foot up, coming into downward facing dog. Let's get the other side now. So we're gonna lift that left leg up, coming into three-legged dog, and then continuing that left hip all the way up as the left knee bends. And I forgot to mention this on the other side, but lower that right heel to the mat as you look through your right armpit to find that left foot. Three-legged dog. And then exhale, maybe you come all the way down with the left foot, lifting the hips up, left arm overhead, wild thing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale as you press weight into that right leg, lift the left leg up, coming back into three-legged dog. And inhale as you bring that knee into the nose. Exhale, place it down for your pigeon prep. Oh, and I forgot to go through mermaid. So we'll do mermaid on both sides. So finding your pigeon pose here, and then slowly you'll melt into pigeon. So we'll be here for a few breaths. For mermaid, I'm going to show you a version of king pigeon with a strap, and then we'll do the other side because I got forgetful. Mermaid or king pigeon is a very deep hip flexor stretch for whatever the straight leg is. So in this case, it would be our right leg side, right hip flexor. And if you're going to take mermaid, go ahead and come back up. If you're not going to, just stay in your pigeon and you're perfect. For mermaid, I'll talk through both. So I'm just gonna put this strap here now. But for mermaid, you're gonna find that engagement of your hips and engagement of your core to be able to stay up and balance. And then you're gonna bend your right leg, grabbing onto it with the right hand. Maybe you stay here. That's perfect. Maybe you bring that right foot into your elbow crease, and maybe your hands connect behind your head. So if you're wanting to take king pigeon, finding a strap, bringing the strap around your foot, and then holding onto the strap with your hands equally, working your way back, and then eventually, maybe you hold onto the foot. I'm not quite there yet, but you're bringing your elbows together. It's a really deep stretch, as you can hear from my breath. So letting go of that strap, and then we'll get the other side first before we go into lizard. So tucking the right toe, lifting the right knee, left knee comes into our chest, coming back through downward facing dog, right knee comes into our chest, placing it down, finding pigeon, staying elevated or maybe just taking a little deep pigeon stretch. And then we'll get mermaid on this side. So you're taking mermaid, bending the left foot, the left knee, grabbing onto the foot with the left hand. Maybe you stay here, perfect. Maybe you bring it into the elbow crease and bring your arms up overhead to connect. And this is a nice deep shoulder opening, hip opening, a whole bunch of stuff that's going on here. My back is really getting a stretch. And inhale, exhale as you lower, tucking the left toes, lifting the left knee. Right knee comes into the chest, press back, downward facing dog. And now our left leg comes up, three-legged dog, left knee to the outside of the left shoulder, and then placing it onto the outside of the hands, placing that right knee down, right foot untucked, figuring out how you want your left leg to be for lizard pose. Coming down, staying up, whatever you need. Inhale. Exhale. This is a really great pose for opening up those hips after sitting for too long because maybe you're strapped into a helicopter. Inhale. Exhale. And on the next inhale, we'll place our hands back on the mat, pressing ourselves up, tucking the toes of the right foot, lifting the right knee, and then engaging our core. I like to press my left knee into my left arm, and then I lift that foot up. I'm still pressing in right here. So you can see that I'm almost ready for an arm balance. And then I lift up into either three-legged dog or downward facing dog, but we'll come down into downward facing dog. Then we're gonna bend our knees wide, bringing our knees onto the mat, toes touch, work back into child's pose. We'll be here for just a moment. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale as you slowly come back up. And then we're gonna take frog pose. So just for purpose of demonstration, I'm gonna come to the side. So it's a little bit easier to come to the side of your mat because your legs are gonna be really wide. So slowly widening out your knees. Your heel is gonna be right underneath your knee. Your knee is gonna be at a 45 and coming down to whatever feels comfortable. Maybe you have to scooch one knee out at a time, feeling a really deep opening in those adductors. Inhale, exhale. I'm going to show you another option. So again, here we are. If you prefer, everyone's body's a little different. Maybe you would prefer to have your feet touching. That might be a better frog pose for you. So whatever you prefer, we'll come down slowly, keeping our hips kind of parallel or in line with our knee. And therefore you can feel a little bit of a deeper stretch. So coming down to whatever your level is, and maybe you find a tiny bit of movement forward and backwards. Just really enjoying the stretch, hopefully enjoying the stretch. If it's not feeling good, maybe come up a little bit. So small movements or no movement with the breath. Breathing though is definitely not optional. And then slowly, we're gonna bring our hands back to the mat if they're not already there. And then we're just gonna inch our knees together. No need to snap them because we're really stretching the muscles that are requiring that action of bringing our knees together. We don't want to overwork them. Then we're gonna find ourselves with the weird hands and knees, cross at the calves, roll onto our bottoms, scooch forward, and then lay all the way back down onto the mat for a little bit of fun. So we're gonna take eagle. Normally eagle is a balance pose and you're balancing on one foot. But because I wanted to focus primarily on stretching and not too overworking the legs, because running, etc., we're gonna do it on our backs, supine eagle. So we're gonna cross our right knee over our left knee. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you continue and bring your right heel or right foot underneath your left ankle, crossing it around, and that's your eagle legs. So either here or here. So with the right foot on top, the right knee on top, we're gonna cross our right elbow over our left elbow. And again, maybe this is perfectly where you wanna be. Or maybe you continue and wrap your left arm around your right forearm. And then think of your forearms and calves parallel to the floor. And then maybe, keeping them parallel, you straighten them out long a little bit, and then you bring them together a little bit. So inhale, straighten, or maybe you stay stationary. Exhale, bring them together. And keep moving, and I'm just gonna talk about the lower back. If it's starting to pop up, don't go that far. You wanna keep the lower back pressed into the mat to really engage the core. So feel the difference of really pressing the lower back into the mat and how the core is really working. If you're going further and you start to banana your back up like that, too far. Take it out a little bit. And on the next one, when you crunch back in, Exhale, release. Bringing your feet to the mat wide. Hands can come to goalpost arms. Bring your knees to the left. Bring your knees to the right. Bring your knees back up towards the ceiling. We're gonna get the other side. So now we're gonna cross the left knee over the right knee, and we're gonna maybe tuck the left foot around the right ankle. And then again, so now our left knee is on top. So our left elbow will be on top of our right elbow, or opposite of what you did last time. Crossing your forearms if you're able to. And then again, thinking forearms and shins parallel with the floor. Your lower back is pressing into the mat, engaging your core, and maybe straighten a little bit. And then come back in, exhale. Inhale, straighten. Exhale as you do a little crunch. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, a little crunch. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, a little crunch. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, a little crunch, and then letting go. Bringing the knees wide to the mat, feet wide to the mat, knees pointing to the ceiling. Exhale, we lower the knees to the left. Inhale, bringing our knees back up to the ceiling. And exhale, we lower our knees to the right. Inhale as we bring our knees back up. And then we'll go ahead and bring our feet up, grabbing onto the back of our knees. And give ourselves a little rock up and down the spine. Maybe have a little fun with it. If you're on a pool deck, it may be a little less fun because it's a little hard. So eventually, we'll rock up, and then we'll bring ourselves into a comfortable seated position. Coming into a seat, either whatever feels comfortable, will eventually come into a wide leg. So I like to stay on the mat. You can come completely off of the mat, maybe like how my mat is here. Whatever's comfortable for your feet and your heels and wide leg. So, like I said, your legs are wide, your feet are engaged. So your toes are back, you're rolling kind of forward, engaging the core, staying upright, and then we'll slowly fold, exhale. Inhale in the fold. Exhale, maybe fold a little deeper by grabbing onto the feet or the calves or the thighs. Remembering to keep those toes, those feet engaged, those toes towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, maybe a little bit deeper. And inhale, placing your hands on the mat, pressing back up. We'll do a little side bend here. So our left elbow is either going to rest on our left leg or all the way onto the ground, grabbing onto the back of the left foot. Our right hip is really going to stay rooted on the ground. So once your hip starts to lift, too much. Right arm is coming up and over, and really just thinking of opening up the chest, bringing that right hip into the mat, and then coming up and over. Eventually, we'll really want to pull through, grabbing onto the left big toe with the right arm. I'm getting a nice big stretch here. But whatever you're at for finding this nice big side bend stretch is perfect. Inhale. Exhale, maybe you lower a little deeper. And inhale, finding the strength of that side body coming back up. We'll get the other side. So finding placement of the right arm, whether it's on top of that leg or maybe holding on beneath it. Again, just remembering not to roll that left hip up, keeping it onto the mat. And then inhale, bringing your left arm up and over. Exhale, maybe you fold a little bit deeper. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale, strong in that side body, bringing yourself back up. We'll roll back just a little bit, bringing our feet together. So again, I know there's some running today, so we're gonna get a nice whole bunch of stretching of our legs. So now, bringing your feet together, either with your arms or the strength of your core, we're gonna do a variation of several different folds. So the first one is just bringing your right foot or your right knee into your chest, and then bringing your right foot into that left thigh. So pretty easy fold. You're probably really used to doing. Now your hips are tracking forward versus side bending. So really think of bringing that right hip forward when you fold. You can have a strap and use that strap to fold. Maybe you grab onto the calf or the big toe, or maybe you wrap around. So several different options, but just think this isn't the side bend now, this is the forward fold to really get the hamstrings engaged. So inhale, exhale, fold. Inhale, maybe lift up just a little bit. Exhale, maybe fold just a little deeper. And then inhale, we'll press ourselves up. Here is an option. So this right foot maybe comes all the way underneath the left thigh. If that doesn't work for you, don't do it. And so we'll just do this one for about 2 breaths. Inhale here, exhale, fold. See, that lift of the thigh gives you a little bit of a different fold here. Might be really nice. Inhale, exhale, maybe fold a little deeper. And inhale as you press yourself up. This next one's a bit of a challenge. So we kind of worked a little bit earlier, stretching out that foot. So our right foot is now gonna have its toes tucked, right heel lifted. You may have to scooch forward just a little bit. If you're like, no way, I'm not getting into that at all, just do what we already did. But yeah, so this is right heel lifted, right toes down, and then you fold. Inhale, exhale. So you'll definitely feel a nice deep calf stretch on the right side as well. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, pressing yourself up. Exhale, letting that right foot go a little bit, but not too far. So I'll show you this with a strap, or you don't have to do it at all. So we will bring our right foot onto the hip crease of the left thigh. Maybe this is perfect and you don't want to go any further. Pushing that right knee down a little bit, engaging that right foot. And then maybe you bring the strap around and you're looking to bring your right arm all the way over and then grab onto the strap, or maybe even grabbing onto the foot. And then from here, you fold. So for this one, it's really, really a nice digestive fold. We're really helping the body move the things in the stomach. Inhale. Exhale, maybe you fold a little bit deeper. Inhale, coming back up slightly. And that right arm really acts as lumbar support to really get a nice hamstring stretch. And then we'll inhale, push ourselves all the way up, releasing the bind. We're not done yet with that left leg. So we're gonna bring that right leg back down. And then further, we're gonna lift that right hip up, place it, the right knee down, right hip down, with our right foot untucked. And this is that half hero's pose. So maybe right here, you're like, I'm good. This is good on my knee. I know when we go to the other side, I probably won't even be able to fold. So wherever your body's at, you'll either stay here or you're folding. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, pressing up. Exhale, bringing that right leg out. And then we'll bring that right leg all the way over the left. You can keep that left leg straight, or you can bring that, bend that left knee, bring that foot in. You're gonna bring your left elbow onto the outside of the right knee, or you can grab onto it, options. And then you're gonna twist to the right. Your chest will be maybe facing the left, your right, excuse me. Your gaze will be behind you. Twist. Inhale, long, straight spine. Exhale, twist. So your spine is still straight, it's just in a very nice twist. Inhale and exhale, finding your counter twist to the left, coming out of it, maybe a little bit of a lean down, and then we'll get the other leg. So straightening out that left leg, bringing that right leg over. Maybe you want to wiggle out the legs a little bit. Maybe your left leg is like, wow, that feels a lot different with your hamstring stretches. So, like I said, we're gonna get the other side now. So bringing your left knee in, and then bringing your left foot into your thigh. So we know where this is going, finding that stretch. Again, shoulders are forward, facing that right foot. And now we fold, not a bend, a side bend, but a true fold. You can have a small bend in the knee. I didn't mention that on the other side, but I should have. So whatever side, whatever kind of fold you want here, whatever you want to grab on, all that matters is really getting that hamstring, a little bit of a hip opener on the left side. And then you should feel this in your back. A nice stretch here. Inhale. Exhale, maybe you lower a little bit. Inhale, maybe you lift slightly to come out of it. Exhale, maybe you lower. Inhale, maybe a small lift. Exhale, lowering. Inhale, placing your hands on the mat, pushing yourselves up, and then we'll find our variation. So bringing your left foot underneath the right thigh. Inhale here. Exhale, we fold. Inhale. Exhale, fold. And inhale, we press ourselves up. Here's our kind of weird one. So we tuck the toes of our left foot, lift our left heel, and I have to kind of scoop my body up a little bit to try to get it a little vertical. My knee's still down, and like I said, this side is just a little bit more of a challenge for me because my left knee and then my right hamstring just is not as good as not as open. So you'll fold, or you take whatever foot positioning that feels right in your body. Maybe this is too intense, but you should feel a really nice, a little bit of a knee stretch and a calf stretch here. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we rise. Bring that foot back out. And then we grab that left foot, bringing it into our right hip. Bringing that knee down. Again, finding that strap if you want to take that little bit of a lumbar support here. I definitely need the strap on this side. I'm really just bringing my left arm as far as I can this way before I grab onto the strap. My right foot is still engaged. Inhale here. Exhale, we fold. So really that lumbar support is keeping my spine really straight so that I really intensify that hamstring stretch. And because my left foot is elevated, my left knee is really feeling a nice deep stretch here. Exhale in the fold. Inhale as we press ourselves back up, releasing the strap if you have it. And then bringing that left foot back down, knees lifted. And then we'll lift the left hip. Slowly place that left knee down, left heel down, and then the left hip slowly starts to come down. So I almost want to lean back a little bit here to open up that left knee. But yeah, so setting up Inhaling, finding that nice straight spine. Exhale as you fold. Inhale. Exhale, maybe you fold a little deeper. And inhale as you press yourself back up, lifting your left leg, bringing your foot back onto the mat, your right leg straight. Your left foot now goes onto the other side of your right leg. Your right leg either stays straight or you bend the knee, tuck that right foot under your left hip. And then you're gonna twist to the left. So right elbow maybe hooks onto the outside of the left knee, or maybe grabs onto it. And then continue to twist to the left, chest is to the left, gaze is behind, twist. So again, inhale, straight spine. Exhale, maybe you twist a little deeper. Always just emphasizing that you inhale strong and exhale, maybe you can bend, twist, release a little bit more. Every exhale gets you into that, closer into the parasympathetic nervous system, especially with deep diaphragmatic breaths that help to restore and release. Inhale as your gaze comes back to the right and you go into your counter twist. Exhale into your counter twist. Inhale as you push back up. And then we'll bring our left foot down, untucking our right foot. And now we'll cross at the ankles, rolling forward onto our knees. We'll do a little bit of camel before we close out. So for camel, it's a really deep hip flexor stretch. So we'll come up onto our knees. Maybe you need a little towel underneath your knees to just protect them. So you can place that towel down now or whatever you need, or maybe you just fold over your mat because we don't need the full mat right now for camel. So whatever you need, we'll tuck the toes and then we'll open up the chest, bring our hands behind into where our jean pockets would be. And maybe we just stay here, pressing the hips forward and finding that deep stretch. We're not really bananaing back, we're still engaging that core and tilting that pelvis into a neutral position. So maybe you stay here, or maybe you start to reach your left hand towards that left heel. Maybe you stay here. Your right hand either stays in the hip pocket or you can reach it up just slightly. You don't want to really throw your gaze back, just engage here, finding that deep stretch on the left side. Maybe you'll feel it on both sides. You really do want to feel it just equally. Inhale. Exhale, pressing your right hand back down to the hip, and then slowly bringing that left hand. Again, we're finding those back pockets, like you're in your hands or in your jeans. Inhale. Exhale, maybe your right hand comes back towards your right heel. Holding onto it here. Maybe your left hand stays where it is. Maybe it reaches up and overhead. Again, your hips are equally pressed forward. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale as you bring your left hand back to your hip, to your back pocket. Right hand slowly comes there. Slowly we come a little bit forward. You can tap out the feet a little bit, and you can give a little bit of a cat pose to kind of find a gentle counter stretch. Now we'll take camel one more time, but we'll see if we can reach both of our hands to our heels. So keeping your toes tucked or untucked if you feel you have a really deep camel pose. I'll keep my toes tucked. And we inhale, bringing our hips forward, rolling our shoulders back, hands come to those back pockets. Exhale, maybe our left hand reaches that left heel. You don't want to really twist too much. And exhale, maybe that right hand touches that right heel, rests on it. Hips forward, rolling the shoulders back, chest open. Inhale. Exhale. You don't necessarily need to throw the neck back. You can have it slowly back, but it may pinch some nerves if you have it too far back. Inhale. Exhale. So to get out of it, slowly bring one hand, whichever hand feels like it's right, to that back hip pocket. Engage the core, slowly coming up. Other hand meets it, and then a slow bend forward, hands come forward, untucking the toes, and then bringing our bottom all the way back towards our heel, finding a very slow and gentle child's pose. I emphasize slow because it's a counter bend. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale as you slowly come back up. Exhale, cross at the calves, coming down into your seated position. We'll do one final hip opener, fire log. A lot of people love this or don't like this one. So for fire log, we'll have our right leg into a sort of pigeon pose. So our right calf is parallel with the front of our mat, or we just keep it straight. If you're keeping it straight, that left leg, that left ankle will place just above the knee. You don't want to place it on the knee, with that left knee into a parallel with the front of the mat. Or you can have both legs stacked, feet engaged, fire log. So you can see how it's one fire log stacked on another. Finding that deep hip opener. If you have like a big gap here, you could always put a block if you have one. Inhale here. Maybe this is enough. Or maybe you exhale, finding a nice fold. Inhale. Exhale, maybe your fold becomes a little deeper. And inhale as you press back, bringing your right leg to the mat, left leg to the mat, and your knees go to the left. Knees come back up, inhale. Exhale, knees to the right. Inhale, knees come back up. We'll get the other side. So left leg is either straight or coming down into a half pigeon or fire log. The right leg stacks on top. So it's foot on knee and then knee on foot or ankle, whichever you prefer. Inhale here, finding your fire log pose. Bringing your chin back, finding that nice long and upright spine. Exhale, maybe you fold. Maybe you just fold a little bit. Or maybe this is your right side and it's really your open side. So yogi's choice to what your body feels right. Nothing should be pinching, nothing should hurt. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale as you press yourself back up if you're folded. Exhale, lifting your right foot, placing it down on the mat. Left foot down on the mat. Hands back, knees to the left. Inhale, knees up towards the ceiling. Exhale, knees to the right. Inhale, bringing your knees back up. Finding yourself on the mat. And then slowly engaging your core as you roll all the way down. Knees come up towards the chest. Reach in between your legs, grabbing onto the outsides of the feet. Happy baby. Inhale. Exhale. This should feel really nice and open now that you've just done fire log. But also just keep that tailbone kind of on the mat instead of lifting it up to find a deeper stretch. The deeper stretch will eventually be found with the tailbone down. And if that means you can only grab onto your knees, that's fine. So here's a little modified happy baby. This one feels just as nice. And then bringing your feet together, lowering them down. You're in supine cobbler's pose, Supta Baddha Konasana. So you can either stay here for your Shavasana, or you can straighten your legs out long. Yogi's choice. So finding your corpse pose. We'll be here for about 1.5 minutes. Perfect timing. So letting go of the breath, letting it come in naturally. Inviting movement with a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes, circling the ankles and the wrists. Straightening the legs out long, arms up and overhead. Inhale, stretch. Exhale as you roll onto one side, using your bicep as a